I want everyone to prepare questions, but I just want you very quickly to pick up on a very interesting conversation that we had in the holding room. I know India isn't a member of APEC, and this is an APEC meeting, but I just came from India at the weekend, and I know you've been there recently. Are you as impressed by what India is doing as what China's doing?
You mean if I compare the rate of change? India is going at about 60% of China's rate of change. And they are starting from a base which is slightly lower than half that of China. Can they go faster? Yes, they can. How? You have to change the system. Can they change the system? Very difficult, because it's set almost in stone and difficult to change. It's an enormous bureaucracy which learned all the licenses system of the British Raj and added more to it. So, but underpaid bureaucrats got to find ways of making a living. So, if you go to China and you get something done and say, the provincial authorities say yes, the central authority, center in Beijing says go ahead, it's done. Because Beijing is going to decide your future, and if you don't do it, you don't get promoted, you go sideways. In India, the central government will tell you, you must do this. So what? Who's appointing me? It's my voters. How do I get the votes? By doing what I think will win me the votes, and then I get a coalition together and our government. So it's a completely different system. And it's all set in stone because the constitution cannot be changed except by a 2/3 majority in the center and 2/3 majority in all the provinces. I give you a little anecdote which summed up what I think is their problem or their handicap. At the same time, it's also the reason why they've stayed together in one piece. 18 or 19 months ago, I was in Bombay, and the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, in which Bombay is, said, well, I meet him and his executive council and his top officials on how to make Bombay an international financial center. I said, yes, of course. So we spent time discussing. The airport is not first world status. The road from the airport to the city is potholed with rickshaws and donkeys and camels and cows. I mean, it's not an introduction to a financial center. Finally, you arrive in Bombay and you see a few high-rises, well kept, and the rest higgledy-piggledy. I said, who runs Bombay? He said, the municipal government of Bombay. There's a mayor there. I said, where does his funds come from? His funds? His revenue comes to me in order that I, in Maharashtra, can keep the peasants happy. So you collect the revenue from Bombay, and instead of building the infrastructure, you spend it on the farmers who are going to vote you back into office. So I said, why didn't you do it like China does? Shanghai is a province, deals direct with the center, as Delhi does. Delhi is of provincial status. And China decides that Chongqing will be a next center for growth. So, right, it becomes a province, deals directly with the center. Says, then what will happen to my farmers and me? So I said, well, all right. So 2 days later, I was having lunch with Manmohan Singh. I recounted him the story. I said, can't you change it and make Bombay like Delhi? He looked at me and says, it'll never pass through Congress. It has to have a 2/3 majority in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is the lower house, and it has got to go through 3/4 majority in every state legislature. It's just not possible. So I said to myself, well, okay, this is the price you pay for India keeping in one piece. You know, India is a multiracial, multinational nation. It's not like China, 90% Han. And I would compare India and what it's doing to the kind of stones that the Japanese put up when they build their palaces. In an earthquake, the stones shake, but they don't fall apart because then they are put in such a way that they come together again. And the Indians have succeeded in keeping the country, a very diverse country, together. They have to make changes, quotas for the lower classes, the Dalits and so on, because they got the votes. And Edward Luce, who was a Financial Times correspondent, he wrote a book about India after he left as correspondent for 7 years. He said, in spite of the gods. And I will remember this phrase for a very long time. He said, in India, you don't cast your vote. You vote your caste. So, a Dalit says, I'm a Dalit, you vote me in, I'll fix it up for you. And we will have a quota for universities, medical schools, jobs, etc. And that's happening. So a Dalit woman looked like, at one time was hoping to become the Prime Minister of India. And in that way, India stays in one piece.